Hello everybody. Today I'm going to talk about mental health awareness and about stigma and discrimination. This is part one of this because it's pretty long. But the first part I'm going to discuss about people who are suicidal or have done things such as self-harm. Anyways, that's part of mental health. Whether you understand it or you don't, which I've never personally experienced that, but does that make them deserving of being ridiculed for it or judged for it or even use that as an insult against them? I mean, if you really think about it, even people I've seen that actually also had mental health issues, maybe not the same type, have actually criticized others for their issues. And I don't agree with that. So let's have the story of what I've seen. I've seen people tell people who are suicidal, who struggle with self-harm or being suicidal, tell them things such as, I hope you follow through with it, I don't care, I think you're stupid, and why are you telling me this? Well, you know what, I get that. Why are they, telling people in public about stuff like that? Well, you know what? It's there's terrible people out there that are really nasty and cruel. And yeah, I thought it was odd because I know how cruel people can be. I mean, you give them a little catnip and they take that and feed it and use it against you. Like it did to this one woman. And if you just sit there or you go along with it and encourage that person to keep saying those types of things to those people, you're just as guilty. I couldn't watch, and I even had certain people who considered me their friends get upset at me because I wouldn't support it. They said, they told me when I told them that I didn't think it was right, they said, well, I don't like her. She deserves it. Well, you know what? And you don't like her, but you know what? That really just shows your true colors. And just by watching people, if you're watching this happening and you're friends with somebody like that, what makes you think they wouldn't do something like that to you? They would, because it's happened to me. Maybe not for that same issue, but it's been used against me by even people that said that they were my friend. So when you watch people treat people in such horrible ways, yet you decide to still stay close to them and be their friend and trust them, wow, you're getting yourself into some trouble. I can guarantee that. I watched it happen myself. I didn't think they would do that to me, but they did quite a few times. So my point here is, why insult people for issues such as their mental health? There's people that have other health issues such as diabetes and other issues such as that are pretty common. I have epilepsy. I've been discriminated against before because I have that. Even when I was a child, there was parents that didn't want me to come over their house because they didn't want to care for me. They were afraid of me. And I've actually had situations where somebody I really cared for and thought cared for me, a boyfriend, told me he couldn't be with somebody who has epilepsy. And that's why he broke up with me. Well, I myself have mental health issues, but I know this stigma can happen to other people too, such as people with diabetes. I'm sure they don't like it when people tell them, oh, well, it's your fault. You're overweight, you know. That's the reason why. Well, you know what? There's people that are in great shape that still have health problems, just like they do. But there's a stigma on weight issues. I'd say even more if you're overweight than if you're underweight. And it's funny because those people that put those people down, certain ones of them, I already know that they themselves had an eating disorder. Not being overweight, but being underweight. So maybe they should take a good look in the mirror. I really think that people should think about this and really think about who they respect and look up to and who they trust. Sure, you could be friends with them, but I wouldn't trust them to the point where I respect them and really feel that they'd be there for me and wouldn't do the same to me.